Hey kids, welcome to the inaugural episode of Toy Photo Bomb. That's spelled BOM, and that stands for Best of the Month, which is what myself, hi, Trevor, 16shooter, and my guest toy photographer will share with you our selections for the best toy photography from the community that we saw in August of 2023. So I'll be doing these about the first week of the month following the month that we're selecting from. So. Now, this is not the result of a contest or voting, just simply our choices based on what we saw, what came across our feeds. We certainly didn't see everything, and I'm certain we've overlooked or missed some great stuff. So, you know, if you don't think your work, if you don't see your work here and you think you're worthy of it, you know, we're gonna in the coming months we're gonna try to figure out the best way that you can share some of the great stuff that you've seen in the community, or maybe you feel your own work is up there and is worthy of it. Um, we'd want to be introduced to some new stuff. So please don't start messaging me and tagging me and everything. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna let you know how to do it, whether it's a hashtag. All those seem to be a mess. There may be some other ways that we can do that, but. Welcome. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. I know it's a new show. I know it's Wednesday. I know it's busy. I don't think I'll be doing this on Wednesday every time. I know there's a lot of competition every night. There's toy stuff. The Toy Daddies I know are on later tonight, and I know that Mythic Conversations, which kind of crosses over with my audience from Legion's Lounge, is happening right now. But if you just came in to pop in and you're going back to check those out, come back and check us out afterwards on the replay crew. But thank you, Insightful Imagery. Mike is here. Red Dog Paul, what's up, man? Vonnie Rotten, what's up, Mitch? Pablo is here. Hedgehog Action's here. Loco Lou, did you see your shot in the opening? The opening of the show. What you think of the opening? Let me know what you think of the opening. I thought that was pretty cool. Angel is here. What's up, Angel? Kai the Collector. Well, Lou, you are in the opening. I'll play it again later. I'll play it again on exiting because you're in it. I put you in it. Everybody from Maz's crew has a shot in the opening intro video. All right. Well, anyway, with that out of the way, let me bring our guest on. He is creative and talented toy photographer. He's now a diorama maker, I guess. He's like excelling at that as well. He's one of my favorite, not only my favorite toy photographer, he's one of my favorite people to hang out with, even though we don't get to do it often enough. He will be at Legion's Con. He helped me out last year doing the presentation there. You will find him on IG as @visual_approach_photo. Please welcome Sean Kenary. What's up, Sean? Oh, we're very small. Hang on. There we go. Now we're bigger.
Good evening.
Good morning. Good evening. Good night.
Yes.
Look at that Hulkbuster back there. Look at he's flexing with the Hulkbuster. Unbelievable. Look at that thing. It's killer. How are you, man?
Great.
How you been doing? Good.
Yeah, great. Cool. Enjoying the fact that the kids are back to school. You can't beat it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Not having kids, I don't know that feeling, but I hear the relief in everybody's voice, and just look at everybody's posts about what they're actually getting to do now that the kids are out of school, or back in school.
They need the structure, the discipline.
For sure. So I want to jump over to I meant to bring this up. I'm gonna have to jump back into my my likes here, but I definitely want to jump over and share some of your work if the people are not familiar, and how could you not be familiar with things like this. One of the things that amazes me about your stuff is that have you done any digital backdrops? You don't do digital backdrops at all, right? You do all printed backdrops for this stuff, which is you're a madman. It's crazy. Like, this is all, like, if you look at the background, you print these all out.
Yeah, you could pay, it's like $1 a square foot, and you give them an image and they'll just print it. It's just regular paper.
They do a nice job.
Paper. Yeah,
it's very, very clean.
And it's for surveys. The machine that they use is really for surveys and maps and stuff, but they'll do anything. I just give them JPEGs.
Gotcha. I love you getting into some cosmics, man. This was a fantastic shot.
That figure is so amazing.
I love Ziri. I love right. I mean, it's like the simplest figure, but it's just like that poncho
It's
and the
easily the best
haircut.
figure in the wave because of
I
the
believe.
haircut and the poncho.
I agree. I agree. And the mask that you can put on.
Yes.
But yeah, incredible stuff. So this, like, if you go, oh, what did you take down your post about the dial?
Oh, I usually it's a reel, I think,
Oh, it's in your reels. Okay,
or
yeah.
the other stuff was in my stories.
So yeah, he just recently posted this. He built this. Insane. Hate you. You have the time to do this stuff. I don't hate you. Incredible, man. Incredible work all
Thank you.
around. Amazing. Yeah. If you're not following Sean, man, you got to look at. I mean, come on. This is another dial he built. This hanger here, which you'll see in a bunch of shots.
I got to
Right?
get my money's worth out of it now. It took me 3 months to
Yeah.
build it.
I was gonna say, hell yeah.
Usually, when I post a
But
new
here,
dio, I say, "You guys are going to get really sick of this," but I gotta use it.
is this the same dial? And
Yeah.
you just put some. So did you add like little rocks and stuff like that up here?
So
Is this a different interior?
the rock wall is there, but I added the rock column from a different diorama,
Okay.
and then I put the computer and the bat cycle under the tarp to kind of make it look like the
Yeah,
bat
that's
cave.
freaking incredible, man.
And
Amazing.
the waterfalls, I poured sugar through the open shutter to make it look like there's some waterfall.
That's a great idea. Sugar is a great idea. I mean, messy as fuck, but like that's a
I,
great
I was
idea.
pouring it into a little pan that you can't see behind the bike.
Okay.
But
Mm-hmm.
they did that in episode 1. You know, all the Naboo waterfalls for Theed, I think, are salt. So they just pour them through the
Interesting.
frame.
I like it.
So I just steal everything I can from DVD extras.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what you got to do. I was gonna say, like, it's so out of focus that you could. I mean, I've done like cellophane, like the cling wrap,
Yeah.
that it clings to itself. You know what I mean? Like you can seal a bowl or whatever with it, and it kind of like crumples up into nice, like watery looking water. But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, without being, very out of focus, it's not going to look like a nice motion blur like that. So that
Yeah.
works really, really well.
Yeah, I think I had a
Amazing.
3-second shutter speed, and I just poured a cup through the frame for 3 seconds, and it did a little.
How is that a normal shutter speed for you, or are you usually shooting? Yeah,
I usually do between 3.2 and 8.
8 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot. You use, well, I mean, you don't use atmosphere as much, right? I mean, you use
I have
atmosphere aerosol or a
I
fog
have a
machine?
Halloween small party-sized fogger that I use.
That's what I got. Yeah. Like the machine, like a 2-foot little or 1-foot little machine. Yeah.
With a little button. Boop, boop.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll use aerosol. It's just I have no real preference. It's just a little bit of haze, but I usually clear most of the haze out in post. I don't know. In this one, of course, the one photo I kept it.
Now, this is indoor, right?
Yeah, that's my garage, which I destroy every weekend to take a photo.
See, this is incredible work, like making this look like outdoor lighting is like when I figured that out, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I can kind of recreate that and doing it inside. Like it was the greatest thing in the world because I hate going outside to shoot.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I don't, because you don't have control, because when you're inside, the light doesn't move 15 degrees every hour. So it's
correct.
It's pretty frustrating.
And when you have to walk away from it for an hour, or you want to come back to it, or whatever, you can't.
And again, with children, I have to sometimes stop, do multiple things with them.
Sure.
Because they require my love and attention, and they've earned it by being born from my loins. So I have to put it away for 6 hours and go back to it. So it's nice to be able to hit the pause button.
Absolutely. Yeah. But this is an incredible example of getting indoor light to look like outdoor. So what was your lighting setup here? I know you've got like this kind of low, so I can't really see.
I think it's basically one. I use a softbox on the character's left, and I put a bunch of leaves in front of it to kind of diffuse it a little bit, and I get some pockets of shadow that I was hoping to get.
Yep. I've done that same technique. Yeah, you get the little leaves from like the aquariums or something like that, and just put it on front.
I have a maple tree in the side of my house. I just cut a branch off of it.
Even better.
So,
Even
all
better.
the stuff behind there is from a tree in my yard, and that moss is from my neighbor's yard on the property line. I just kind of dug it up.
Wow, you even took the moss from nature. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a great setup, man. This is incredible. Like this is such a subtle. I don't know why I don't like that one.
My battery's
Uh,
always dying, Johnny. I try to hide that from you, but
uh
it's always
I was just gonna. I was gonna. That was the next thing I was checking because Johnny. See, he stepped on my joke, Johnny. Come on, man.
there
I
was
was
I
waiting. I was
remember
waiting for the right time for that to come up in somebody's BTS because we talked about that. In every BTS, the battery is nearly dead.
just because
Everybody's,
there's this
not
tremendous
yours.
amount of anger and self-loathing that goes into toy photography, and once you finally get it, you're at your wit's end, and the battery is too.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it usually dies like right at the point where you've got the shot like
Yeah.
set up.
I
Son of a
posted one
bitch.
photo of the Mandalorian, and he was shooting in one direction, and there was blaster fire coming across his flank. And in the BTS, my battery was full. And Johnny commented that the battery was full, and that was satisfying to him. And I think about that every time I post a BTS.
I know. It's a rarity, man. I'm telling you, I was looking through some of the stuff that I actually
Yeah.
picked, and it's the same thing, man. Is this the one? Oh no, you don't have the BTS here. Amazing stuff, though. Incredible, man. That's an amazing shot.
I
So
was in
what did you do back here? Did you do post processing on that movement, or was that your background and you just
no, so
created the background to make it look like that?
that's the lava diorama, the first lava diorama that I made.
Oh wow.
And so I just shot two. It's just two photos. The
Hmm.
shot of the full background with Mando clinging to the TIE fighter, and then a second shot of just the lava diorama, and then I did a path blur on the bottom half of it.
Okay. Okay. So you did do some post blur. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to try to get some movement on it.
Yeah. Normally I'm like not big on that, but on the ground when it's like out of range like that, I like that movement. I don't like when people. It's a personal preference. I've seen it done well. In fact, there was a shot that I almost picked that was done well in where somebody was, kicking and you could see the motion of the leg. They added a little bit of blur. You gotta. It's not easy to do. You got to do it well in order to
Yeah,
sell it. And even then, I'm like, if you were gonna take a picture of somebody taking that punch, you'd probably be shooting it fast enough shutter speed that you'd capture it without the blur. But
yeah.
it's a personal choice, and I've seen it work really, really well.
I
So,
pulled it back. So my most recent photo of Malgus,
oh yeah,
I had some blur in it of the cape had a little bit of motion blur in it,
okay,
and then there was more like in the lower part of his legs to show like that he was moving, like
right,
jumping. And
hmm,
I backed off on all of it, and I just left a
yeah,
little bit of motion blur in his right
just up in
forearm.
the hand, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think that's enough, man. I
yeah.
just don't. I don't know.
It was
It's a
distracting when it was all in there. I had one edit where all the blur was in there, and it was like, what am I doing? And I just wiped it all out.
I've done the same thing. The same thing. I've tried it, and I know what I'm doing in Photoshop, and I know how that would look and it would work, in with physics and stuff.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. Unless you're gonna actually do it in camera, you know what I mean, and like hook something up to it to make it sort of move and give it that natural blur. I just don't think it works very well. But
I've done a couple where I try to drag something through an open shutter to give it blur. Like I did a reptile shot where he's doing his force ball thing,
oh
and
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just would
yeah.
drag the effect through the shutter to make it look like it's moving. And I was happy with it. It was a fun experiment.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, I encourage everyone to try everything that they can, like, and that may be your thing. You know what I mean? That who knows if you can do it well, that might be your thing.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Follow Sean if you're not following Sean. I will put. Didn't put much of a description in this. I think I actually put Sean's information in the description. So if you're watching this later and you want to follow him, he's down there. He's also right. Ooh, this is the wrong stuff. New show. Let's see what's going on. So Sean's battery was dying there. Moss hacks. Turn that maple into a bonsai. I got to find a
Good
miniature
idea.
bonsai, like a fake bonsai. Like I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on a bonsai that I will kill. Um, Shot where Luke is cutting the chicken walker in half is one of the funniest photos when you notice the officer's face. We'll go back to that. What's up, Thanos? How's it going? All right, so the premise here is we've each picked a random number. We're not set on anything yet. I don't know if that's going to change. It's a new show, so we're trying to figure it out. I think you picked 6 or so, and I picked 7 or maybe more. 7 or 8. I don't know, whatever. So we're going to go through these. We're going to, this is all pretty much positive. I mean, these are all good stuff that we think is great. So, I mean, this is going to be a love fest and kind of like just kind of looking at the shots and what makes them great, dissecting them a little bit if we feel like it, and praising and moving on. Now, we're hoping that we can do this little survey monkey thing with you guys and have you pick your top photo from this round, and what I will do is I will add that to the opening video. I think that'll be, the no prize for this. So I'm going to put the link up there in a little while once we've gone through some of these things, and you guys can kind of take a look at it. Maybe I'll put it up now, and you guys can tell me if it's working, because I don't even know. This is literally like a last minute thing. We were just going to put a top 5 in, and then let you guys pick one in the chat with the using the YouTube survey. But I'm going to put the link up there. That's the Survey Monkey link right there. I don't think I can highlight that, but you'll see it. If you click on that, you should be taken to. I should probably test that. A little survey to pick your favorite, and as we go through these things, you'll see them, and you can choose, and then we'll pick a winner at the end. It's not really competition, though. It's just a little added extra for you guys to sort of involve you in a little more in our discussion. So
yeah, and as you mentioned, it's entirely subjective, and it's really based on what Instagram would show me. And I mean, I love to go looking for stuff, but it's like you're fighting the app most of the time, as you all know. You're fighting.
It is hard. Yeah, it's hard to even, and I'm thinking about doing a hashtag, but even the hashtags that I've done for like Legion's Lounge art have been a mess. You know what I mean? Like you have to kind of go through everything in order to see what's new. So it isn't like you're not even able to. Maybe we'll do it by month, and I'll put another one out there. I don't know. Trying to think of an easy way for everybody to be able to. I'm hoping that people will say, "Hey, did you see this one from so and so?" Not necessarily like, "Hey, here's my entry." They're not entries, really. We're just looking for good stuff. So if you see somebody, I'd love to follow somebody who's new or not so new, because I'm following a lot of people now that I've found out about in the last 3 months who've been doing it for months or years. You know what I mean? Who are fantastic, and I didn't know about them. So always happy to find out new stuff. So let's get started with this right off the bat. We have some female representation, which I always enjoy seeing. I really like. There's a lot of great female toy photographers out there, and Sandra Bell is one among them. This was I think this is one of my picks. And it was on the cusp of making a cut, but man, it's just so nice. Like everything is so. The posing is nice. The setup is incredible. The little leaves on the thing they're standing on there, the top of whatever that building is. The light in the background with the other building parts or whatever those things are back there. I don't know. I just loved it. I thought it was a really good moment. I love the light.
Yeah.
Great setup. Just a really good setup. I mean, just nice composition. Really, it's simple shot, but really, really nice.
Well, it's sold with the posing, because Batman is behaving like Batman and Catwoman is behaving like Catwoman.
Exactly.
And it doesn't work if they're not.
Exactly.
It looks like she's standing on that little kind of fence thing delicately and leaning on his shoulder, like she has no problem doing that. And
right.
Of course, he's brooding, and she's just nonchalant. And
she's got that balance. And these are McFarlane figures. Not that you can't pose a McFarlane. I'm not going to trash McFarlane, but just to get she's a good looking McFarlane figure. I got to say that they did a really good job with her. And I think the Batman is pretty good too. Maybe a little stocky, but
Is that
pretty good.
Batman painted? Because he's like very black when you get him, and now he
Might
looks
be.
the gray tones on the suit, which makes him look really good.
I shouldn't say if it's a custom or not. I don't know if that's something. Cat in the Bat. I don't know. I'm not sure. It looks great though. Gotta
Mm,
say, it looks really really nice.
yeah.
Um, yeah, just a simple setup, but I really liked. I like the setup. I like a good. I mean, this isn't exactly bird's eye, but it's above eye level, and that's you don't see a lot of that, and it's not easy to pull off. And it's easy to do, but it's not easy to make the characters look as heroic or real from those angles without the right posing and the right composition. So another
But
good.
it helps show off the setup in this particular
Absolutely,
instance, and
absolutely.
I can't do it. It's very difficult for me to get above eye level. I know that there are
Mhm.
some instances where I can do it with a spaceship, but I
Yeah,
can't do it with a person.
yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, you really your set has to be top notch. Like you got
Hmm.
to have everything in place, and I that's kind of the main thing about this. I love everything about it, but I really love all the little details, the leaves and the papers. I mean,
Yeah.
people. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's just nicely done. It's not
Well, it's not
overdone.
thrown together. It's there's some thought and consideration into where these things should go to make it work, and it
Absolutely,
works.
absolutely. Beautiful shot. Beautiful shot. All right. Let me just. I'm trying to get my thing up here so I know it's next. Okay. Um, Another great female photographer, lost in translation, Jules. I met her at ChrisCon recently. Awesome person, incredible photographer. And how long would you say? I don't know. I'm not sure how long she's been doing it. I mean, she's up to 5,000 followers, which is incredible. She's put up 2,200, 2,300 posts. So I guess she's been doing it for quite a while. But I just got introduced to her like literally months ago, and I was blown away. Like she's got incredible work.
I think one of the
Um,
first shots I saw of hers was the um the Jurassic Park Back to the Future mashup.
yes. Yep.
I
Yep.
was like, oh,
That's yep. Yep. I bookmarked that because that was incredible. I think that might have been one of the first ones I saw too. I know I did see her on Between Two Sentinels, um,
okay.
which is also going to be in like a half an hour. But stay here. You can catch up with those guys later. But yeah, she was great. She's just like again a really nice person and just creative and again attention to detail. So what made you pick this shot?
Um, there's a balance between the light inside the phone booth and the light from what I would imagine would be the moon hitting that perfectly posed and empty Iron Man suit, and the snow that's kind of swirling and kind of drawing you in to make sure that because you're originally you see Iron Man at the base of the phone booth, but then you
Mm-hmm.
realize that Tony's in there calling
Mm-hmm.
Likely Pepper, and from the background blending perfectly with the key light and the rest of the light to make it all look like one giant setup, and the snow, and again that perfectly posed and empty Iron Man was stunning.
Yep. Yeah, everything is sitting flat. The feet are flat, the hands are down in the ground. I love the swirling. You pointed out the swirling snow, which I noticed, but like it really kind of draws you in
It's
too.
like a
Like it
cyclone,
really,
yeah.
it does.
But his head, look
Um,
at Iron Man's head. Like that suit is empty and it's off. Like that's
yeah,
what
the light is
C-3PO looks
off.
like
Yep,
when,
the eyes are off.
yeah.
It's totally robotic, like you said. Like it's just a complete like dead robot. And again, like moon. This is perfect moonlight. Like this.
Yeah.
This is great. It's
And it's
really,
cold.
really well done. Between the light and the phone booth, it looks like a real phone booth. That must be a Grime City, yeah, Grime
Yeah.
City piece, which is incredible work to begin with. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I love that that's illuminating. Like it's a great bounce from Tony. Like you don't immediately see it, but then you do. You see his hands and you see his hair, and then the caption brings you into it, and it's beautiful, man. It
I
tells a story without even having to know a caption or anything like
no,
that. You know what I
he
mean?
needs
You
a
know who
jump.
that is. You know
Yeah.
who that is.
And that what I also find interesting about it is the phone is in his right hand and it's covering his face, and I think that's a more interesting choice than I would make, because I would want to make sure that it's Tony in there. I'm like ham-fisted when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I
And
would
this is
probably think the same thing. From a product shot standpoint, I'd be like, oh, you
yeah,
got to show the product.
yeah.
You got to make sure.
You got to know that that's this figure arts figure or whatever,
Yep.
and it's like you don't need it for the shot to work. Actually, it's better that you don't see it because
Exactly.
it's Iron Man because it's sitting on the ground out there busted.
And even the dirt, I think she's not afraid to like customize things for shots too, like to really
She
get
also can do
things.
a lot of it in post. Like you see what she did with that Back to the Future DeLorean. A lot
Mm,
of the line work and stuff on that I think was done in post.
correct. So a
And
great
so
Photoshop artist as well.
yeah,
So there's your look at this.
that's
Wow,
something else.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. You just bring it to life. I mean, this is where post work comes into play. You know what I mean? You really gotta. It's really a benefit, man. Like it doesn't have to be. You don't have to do. You know, I love ACBA and I love those guys over there, and I'm an admin on there. But like, Photoshop is a tool, like anything else. You know what I mean? It's not there to like
Yeah.
create magic. You got to know what you're doing. It's just another tool. You know,
When
you
it
got to know what
I
you're doing with posing. You got to know what you're doing with lighting, and then you got to know what you're doing with Photoshop in order to make it work. So
and a lot of the properties that I like, I watch them and they rely heavily on post. So the idea that it should be shunned in toy photography doesn't really
yeah,
track. Everything has its place. I think we all can
exactly.
retreat to our corners and love what we love, but I personally can't tell the story I want to tell without using a little bit of Photoshop.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I want to go in and highlight things. Listen, I spend a lot of, and I know you do too as well. Spend a lot of time lighting things. You know what I mean? Like to the point of like, I really want to get as much as I can in
so
camera.
I can't do what she did. Like I can't take that raw photo and turn it into that. My brain won't. It has to look like that when it goes into the camera. So I
Yeah.
would have to light that Iron Man from his right side
Hmm.
and try to get the snow. I wouldn't be able to necessarily, do practically like that. But
Hmm.
me personally, I couldn't see what she saw when she took the raw photo. Like she knew what that was how to get from A to B.
Yeah.
It's hard for
Yeah.
me to
Yeah.
do that personally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great work, incredible work. Go check out Lost in Translation Photo if you haven't already. Really, some just fantastic stuff, man. Really, really excited to. I think I'm getting her on the show. She may be the next guest or one of the next few guests. So can't wait to talk to her. All right, that was number two. Number three is Patrick Ohm Dios, and this is a GI Joe shot, obviously. Spirit and who's in the background? I don't know who that is in the background. Help us out in the chat. I can't remember who that is. I don't know my Joes. But this was one of my choices. Now, now, going from our discussion about using Photoshop and you know
Outback.
using it as a tool, Patrick is all practical in camera. And what I love about this shot is this is so simply made, but it is beautiful composition. Your eye is just led through it all the way through. It feels like there's action happening. The foliage is, when you see it, you're gonna like be like, oh damn. But it's all in scale. Obviously, it's not real. I mean, I see a lot of people trying to take these pictures outside, and there's giant grass and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
it's like my number one pet peeve. This just like the light coming from behind looks just like a bright overcast sky, or maybe just an overly exposed shot. You know what I mean, when you're taking this picture, and it's as simple as this is the setup.
Great.
Yeah, it's amazing. A little fake bonsai tree. Again, I got to get one of those things. Some stuff from like Petco for the your terrarium or whatever, and the
I love that
setup and the
place.
posing. Yeah, I know, right? Posing. Oops, sorry. Is I think is just fantastic, man. The way he holds the gun uh, feels realistic. It feels like he's moving with it. It looks like his face, great looking. Like these figures really look amazing, and it really looks intent. And he's not looking at you; he's just looking off, and you're kind of following all the action. This guy's got a Cobra soldier back there with a knife to his throat, or at least dragging him. I don't think he's like a blade is the opposite way, but like just great, man. Great setup.
There's a camera tilt in there that keeps
Yes.
as much of the Jeep in it as possible, and the angle that Spirit is at as he's kind of tracking off camera, it makes it look it's perfectly done.
You got a pyramid. You got a pyramid composition, right? Because you got the front of the Jeep going up to Spirit's head, down to front of Spirit's gun, and to the tire of the Jeep. That's all you can see of the Jeep in the back. And that, like you said, that little bit of Dutch angle, like this would have been a great shot straight on and just like, flatly angled, but like it just adds action to it. This is the right way to do a Dutch angle. You know what I mean? Not just for the sake of doing it, but like there's motion here, and this makes it feel like there's more motion. Like you're in like a follow camera, like a TV. Like they're moving and they're following the action.
I love that embedded camera feel, like like Battlestar Galactica or something when they.
Yeah, exactly. BSG. Yeah, I was trying to think of a show like that. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. But he is all practical work. Patrick does fantastic stuff. Is very much an ACBA staple. He's got a lot of platitudes from ACBA all the time on their show. But let's check his battery. Wait a minute. Oh, 70%. Pretty good. Way to go, Patrick.
Good job.
So those simple setups, like you don't have to, you don't have to go nuts.
Yeah.
No even as simple as this is, you got to know what you're doing. It looks like he's got like kind of one light here. I think he's probably, pushing a light up to the background, which just looks like a white card to me.
When I first started doing toy photography, and my wife used to comment on,
there you go.
Why is your setup so elaborate and you're taking like a photo that's like 6 square inches? And I'm like, well, I have to. I don't know why, I just have to. But now through experience, you kind of compare it down and get what is only going to be in frame. And then you end up with what he's got here, which looks like this huge, grandiose setup. And it's some aquarium plants with a Jeep. And it looks like he's out there outside, and this guy's in the dirt shooting up at Spirit.
Yep. You don't see any ground. All the foreground gives you got a foreground, you got a middle ground, you got a background, and everything bleeds off the side, but yet creates this really nice straight through the picture, or a pyramid composition too. Like you could divide that a couple of different ways. It makes it feel huge, man. It makes it feel like this is like either taken outdoors with forced perspective or something, but it's great. And yes, what you're saying is absolutely true. Like when you can think of what your shot is going to be and just set up to what you need.
Yeah.
I used to do the same thing, this elaborate setup. And then like, all right, let me move this over here. I mean, when you're getting started, I think it kind of like, it helps you to like be able to move around a scene, I suppose, without having to move things or reset things once you've got everybody in. But you will learn over time to.
I try to have a concrete idea, so the setup is specific to the idea that I have. But in the beginning, I enjoyed toy photography so much, I almost didn't care what I was shooting. I was playing, and I would setting up these elaborate setups, and then I would do different configurations, and that was kind of part of the learning experience and how to do it. But then I was able to kind of, I think as most people do, is streamline their own process.
Absolutely.
Increase my efficiency.
Absolutely. Angel says her Ant-Man stuff is my favorite. Yeah, definitely. That's a great one too. That bottle cap shot is incredible. Bonnie says, great example of making a shot. I'm not sure if he was talking about
Jules shot.
Lost and Translated Jules shot. Yep. Harold says, I need to have a lot to work on my photography. I need to step up from a photo editing app to Photoshop. I would recommend it. I mean, I've seen some great apps, and people can do some amazing stuff with those apps. I think it's a little limiting, especially when you're getting serious about it. It's worth getting the photo suite,
Well,
which I
and
think
you,
is like 20, maybe $25 a month, 20, $30 a
I
month.
think I pay 20 less than 25 for
Yeah,
Creative
I think it was
Cloud
twenty
and
four
all
ninety
that
nine or
stuff.
something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. So you
but
get
that
Photoshop, you get Lightroom, you get a couple other
you get
photo editing
Lightroom
apps.
Classic and all
Yep.
this other little
Yep.
bridge and some other stuff. But it's better than you dumping in $400 to get the suite of stuff when it before they offered the subscription
Yeah,
and
for
not
sure.
knowing if you were going to either like it or be successful at it.
Right.
Now the the financial cost to getting into it to see if you like it is very low.
Absolutely.
That's what I.
Yeah,
That's
and you
what,
could just try it out, and like, dude, you can learn anything on YouTube. I mean, I have a few videos that show like some post editing stuff. I really got to do more because I know a lot of people ask for it, but there is stuff out there just for regular photography that will teach you Photoshop. You know what I mean? Like what to do with Photoshop for photography.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's definitely worthwhile just trying it for $25. I don't think you have to commit. I think you can go month by month. So if
Yeah.
you're like, nah, this isn't for me, yeah, you move on for now. What's up, Chad? What's going on? Outback. That's Outback. Thank you very much, Lou and Alex and Chad and Plastic Battles and Funny Rod.
Jordan says his life is an elaborate setup. Yes.
Well, it
Agreed.
kind of is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it really, literally and figuratively, maybe. Lightroom and Photoshop together is $10. It says Ian, so that's incredible.
All right.
I
What
didn't
am I
realize
paying
that.
for? I'm
I
gonna
didn't
check.
realize you could
I'll
just
follow up
get
with you.
those. Yeah,
I'm doing it
that's
wrong.
incredible. Pablo says, I feel green. I still have a lot to learn to improve my photography and post editing. Yeah, I mean, the editing thing is a big thing for people. I mean, once you get the lighting down and the posing and everything else, like that I think is your next step for a lot of people. 25 is way more than about. Okay, yeah, it's $10. All right,
Yeah,
there
I
you
think I
go.
say this on every chat or video that I join, but I think if people have access to, it's called Creative Live. It's an
Hmm.
online tool that where you can learn any type of
Yeah, that's great.
photography. There's Photoshop, Lightroom, but I took the photographer. I took again, as I've said 1,000 times, I took environmental portraits, and
Yep.
it is basically one-to-one scale toy photography. They set
Yeah.
up a human in an environment and they light it based on that environment. They pose them based on what their occupation is, and they shoot it. And he shows you how to shoot it. And the course is great. It was like $9. You get like
Yeah.
11 hours of video.
I was gonna say they're not expensive.
No.
Yeah, Creative Live. Go check that out because
Yeah,
it's not expensive at all.
I love it.
And I've said that over and over again. Like, look at portrait photography on YouTube. Like, if you look for toy photography, yeah, you'll find my stuff. You'll find Sir Dork stuff, some other people, but yeah, these are the basics. You know what I mean? The basic stuff you want to do is like setting up 3-point lighting or whatever. You know what I mean? And this is portrait photography is going to teach you all about that
Yeah.
stuff, and you'll get a lot from it. You'll definitely get a lot from it. Ian says, I learned Photoshop from Piximperfect on YouTube. There you go.
It's great.
There you go.
Learn is good too.
Flern is good. I mean, Flern, I think you got to pay for, but Flern has some excellent tutorials on there as well.
Yeah. I think it's like $1.
Is it?
It's really cheap. Yeah.
I had a subscription to that. I thought it was like $10 a month or something like that. I can't remember. I don't even know if I probably still have it. I haven't used it in a while. But excellent job, Patrick. Fantastic. Really love the action in this. Coincidentally, our next shot, and it's only another one of mine because I picked too many, I think. But another spirit shot and another action shot, and everything I liked about that. I love the lighting here. I love the motion here. I love the action, and this is a mashup, which for me is like semi-taboo. Like I don't do mashups well or deal with them well. Unless they make sense, but this completely and totally makes sense. I mean, playing off obviously the Native American in the Predator. No, that was the other one.
Prey.
Prey. which was fantastic, really good. And this is great. I mean, I don't know if does he have a behind the scenes? He doesn't. So I don't know if he shot this outside. These are all obviously like Dio trees. I'm gonna say he probably shot this inside. I think he's also a Photoshop user, and he knows what he's doing. He definitely knows what he's doing. So I'm thinking he shot this inside. But I love the eagle coming down from the corner.
Back
Just
up.
great action, great motion through it compositionally. Posing, yeah.
I didn't realize that Shaman Predator from NECA was as tall as it was compared. I know he's kind of somewhat like Spirit is somewhat crouching as he's kind of moving through the frame, but the Predator looks enormous next to him.
Yep.
The scale's a little different, but still he's pretty big.
Yeah, I mean it's superimposing, which it makes it even scarier, and it's probably, I don't know if it's structurally or doesn't measure up from figure to figure, but it works. I mean,
the bigger the better. I want them to look like monsters. So
yeah, exactly.
Because when the Predator in the first movie picks Arnold up, that guy towers over Arnold, and that's great. You can't beat that.
Yeah. And I like, I'm like sparks and dust and stuff like that. I don't know if it is. I generally I'm like, well, subtly, but I don't mind them here. I think it works. It's just a little bit of motion, because there is a lot of motion going on here. But man, it's
and he's got the cloak. Looks like there is a wind going through, so that's which would kick up those sparks or embers.
Absolutely. And it looks like he's just jumped down from that rock or the tree or whatever, and shocked him or surprised him. It's really, really good. Great posing. Really great posing. Really, really love this. Yeah, I don't. The smoke might be a little post on the bottom too. I'm thinking, right?
It could be, or he blew it through the frame. I think
maybe.
I don't know if he's got like a small
He's definitely got atmosphere in here.
Yeah.
So he's definitely got atmosphere in the background. He's got a nice depth with whatever he's using for the background there. It's really good. It's like he's got a waterfall that he might have used cellophane for.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of does. I'd love to see it behind the scenes for this, man.
Yeah, he usually does post it as a reel, I think. When he does post it, I think it comes up as a reel.
Well, all right, let's take a quick look and see if he's got it up here. Because I really would actually like to see it. It was this month. And I know he did a couple of different edits on this. I like this one more than the other one. I don't see it.
Maybe not.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Is that it?
There we go. Nice.
Yeah, there's a waterfall.
Nice tree.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah, look at that. He's got the waterfall.
It still looks like it's natural light. It's like it's light from outside that's coming in. Like he's inside, but he's near a window or something.
Do you think he's by a window? Yeah, because this is the first edit I saw. That's the first. Yeah. It was a little bit darker. It was nice. Let's see if I could find it. It was a nice shot. I just preferred. This looks a little more overcast, like a little bit of a darker interior woods shot. And I'm a sucker for just natural light that almost blows things out, but doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it's controlled. Really, really good. Great stuff, man. Great stuff. Very good. So that is 850 Sith Lord. I don't know his real name.
Wes.
So. Oh, is it Wes? Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent work. Excellent work. Go check him out. All right. Next up, we got to move along here. Terminator. This is your pick from Mad Toothbrush.
Toothbrush.
I almost spelled wrong 3 times. Great name though.
He has a very cinematic style, and this looks like it could have been a still from like a Phil Tippett stop motion T800 with the cold blue lighting with the red orange lighting. It just screams 80s action cinema. And with the scaffolding or whatever in front that's kind of partially blocking. It blocks the frame so that you can you're pulled in to look at the Terminator. But I love the atmosphere, the framing, and the color. Everything about I don't know why I don't own this figure. I love the first two Terminators.
Which figure is this?
I think that's the NECA T800.
Oh, okay.
But it's shot beautifully. I love a good skull, and he got the perfect rim light on the skull.
Yeah,
and it just
lighting a skull is an art.
Yeah,
it's definitely an art.
And
I think I got the Mafex one coming here from this one. I got to see how that's going to look. But
it's grossly overpriced, but I'm buying it also.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. You know, normally, you know, a lot of times on like Maz's, so it's Maz's Toy Box I'm referring to, if you don't know what I'm talking about, in the audience, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. we do some, you know, some critiquing, let's call it, of photography. Some great stuff. People are really learning there. It's really good. It's more, you know, people who are in the intermediate and beginners and stuff. And a lot of times we'll see like the red, blue, half and half on a face or something like that. And it's very overwhelming. First of all, red, tricky to work with. And then blue is a little easier, but like when you get that red mixing in, it's tough, or even orange, you know what I mean? Sometimes. But I really like the way it's coming from it's moonlight. Like this is what he's got going on. Like it's coming from the right direction. There's just a little tinge of the red. It's not overbearing. It's not half and half, although he does have, you know, the skull, like you said, like perfectly lit to hit the right highlights and just kind of hide that left eye socket like a little bit, and just have the eye poke through instead of seeing the shape of it, which is really cool.
You can see there's still, it's like obviously he's lit on both sides, and there's a little, there's some shadow down the middle of them, and it kind of pulls them out. And somebody mentioned in the chat that that's the Hot Toys, so maybe that's the Hot Toys one.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's super detailed.
Yeah,
it's nice. I like this element up here too. It is very cinematic. It's not. Things aren't well defined. Like the background isn't well defined. The foreground isn't well defined. There's a lot of people that do this kind of style, and a lot of times I'll look at it. My first thought is it's like, oh, it's very dark, but it's a style. You know, it's very much like in the style of like ACBA, which is like, you know, looks a little more not toy-like, but like, you know, like it's a little more clean,
like a comic
in
book.
Your face. Yeah, more like a comic book.
Like comic book doesn't, it has a lot of where everything is more broadly lit and
defined, like well defined, like everything is.
The comics that I grew up reading as an old person, that's what they looked like. They don't necessarily look like that now, but I think that's what helps kind of define that style.
Right.
But this is something that I do kind of strive to do. Like I could not do something that has subtlety to it, where it is dark like that. And that is something that I would love to be able to tell that story with a Terminator like that, but I don't think I could ever do it.
I'm the same way. I'd be like, whatever that structure is in front, I'd be like wanting to get like a little rim light on that. Like a little, you know, to act as like a little guide. But I mean, it does, like, it's actually framing. If you look at those two out of focus, like whatever they are, if they're trees or if they're like pieces of like structure or something like that, it's actually
like scaffolding
frame
or something.
Yeah, it's scaffolding, exactly.
It's the same angle of the rifle.
Yep.
And I just love it. And
it looks like a film still. That's the thing. Like these things do. There's some great people who do this kind of things.
I have a tendency to show the whole figure.
Oh, it's a quarter scale. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I like that you don't see his whole left hand, and you don't see the full barrel of the rifle. It's framed like a film because it's moving. And that's something that I can't, like if you showed the Mandalorian shot that I did where he's fighting 4 stormtroopers. Yeah. You could see like, it looks like I tried to make it look like a Renaissance painting because you can see the whole thing, you know? It's ridiculous.
But that's a style. I totally
but I want to do
that. I know. We all want to do what we don't do. I know. I get it. I totally do.
That's why I picked
I want to be you. That's
Yeah.
like Katie Combs, man. Good Lord,
Yeah, I can't
she's
do that
like
stuff.
she kills me. Like I just want to do everything she does.
Yep.
Incredible.
I
Great
just want
work.
to not be beholden to the latest figure that comes out. Like everyone will post a
Yeah.
photo of the newest figure that comes out, and Katie's like, "Yo, I got this," or Amy's like, "I got this at a tag sale 6 years ago." Oh, look, here.
Yeah, exactly,
How do you
exactly.
do that?
Here's something from Doctor Who from like
Yeah.
12th grade or whatever. Yeah,
No, I'm gonna
exactly.
shoot Boba Fett again. Actually.
Yep. So Terminator from Mad Tootbrush, Avishek Sarkar. Amazing stuff, man. Very good. I've took a look at his stuff. He's got a lot of cinematic stuff like this.
Yeah.
So if you like this style, or if you like the Terminator, or you just like good photography, man, go check
I'm an
it out for
'80s
sure.
kid, so I saw it and I was like, "Yup."
There you go. There you go. Speaking of 80s, although this might be 70s. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have you Google this while I'm doing this if you can.
Deal.
The Fog
Oh, the
with
fog.
Adrian Barbeau, who probably I'm gonna guess 80% of people in our audience don't know who this is. So this is
1980.
okay, just on the cusp. This is Beryl Moraldo, Adrian, who does. If you follow him, he's one of the funniest, if not the funniest, person doing toy photography. Which sounds interesting. If it sounds interesting, it is interesting. Like he does some great stuff. He does some political stuff. So if you're, a little, if you want to avoid that, then that's your prerogative. But he does a lot of drug humor, but he does a lot of 1/6 scale and 1/12 scale, very detailed figures. He gets a lot of custom pieces and stuff like that. But his setups are nuts. He does some stop motion. This just spoke to me, man. I don't know. It was just such a cool setup. He's got all the details. He's got the record case back there. You know what I mean? This was a radio-based story. She was a radio announcer, as far as I remember, and she was talking to people about the fog coming in and stay out of the fog, whatever it was. It's been a long time since I watched this, but just great. And with this creature in the back, outside the window,
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's so well done. You know what I mean? It's just like
it
so
is
well
again.
done.
It's different than what you typically see because I think there's trends with what figures that get released and certain styles, and this is like such a departure from what you typically see in toy photography. And she's holding the tape. The tape deck thing is open.
Yes,
it's
like the tape deck is open.
There's subtle stuff in there that fleshes it out, where immediately, even if you haven't seen the movie or know who she is, that she's in a radio station.
Yeah, and every piece of equipment he's got matches the date, the time period and everything. It's incredible. There's people who do. There's Dwayne Shoots Toys is also, I would put in the category of Adrian. That just does. They do incredible setups. Again, they're not going for this like elaborate lighting schemes and and insane angles and stuff like that. They're just telling great stories, funny vignettes that are amazing in the scope of what they put together. I'd like to see Adrian do more BTS stuff of his setups. Like he does a lot of stop motion stuff, but like I really would like to see him I want to see the set that he put together and how he set it up. Dwayne does that. He'll show you every aspect of cutting out
that's part of his secret weapon.
It is
ability to show you, hey, I printed this whole thing and then I painted it like the Ninja Turtles in the record store with the shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
Made a record store.
And I think Adrian does some reels he was doing TikTok, so he does do some stuff, but I think mainly he uses this for his stop motion, which again, if you haven't seen it, it's hilarious. I mean, he does a great job. It's very, whatchamacallit, robot chicken with the mouth, you know what I mean? But it's brilliant. I mean, he's really, really funny, and he does some incredibly fun takes on things, and then he gets a little serious sometimes. You know what I mean? He'll do some serious stuff. Another great shot from him.
That is so good,
so perfect. Again, like it looks like the TV show. Like it looks like you're watching this movie.
Yeah, it's like a time capsule.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So definitely go check that out. That's a fun shot, man. I love that. So that's the Fog. and that is Beryl Morado, and you can look up that reference if you want to. All right, next up. Oh, sorry, this is also one of mine. I had a couple of them together just because I had many. I had more than you did. Kneel before Zod. So this talking about ACBA. I mean, this is everything ACBA is in one picture, basically. I'm thinking he's hiding the wires, and I think he has a BTS of this somewhere. With the jacket, I don't know what he's doing with this, but all this plastic glass you can see is kind of attached to each other, and attached to the werewolf. So just like it's classic stuff, man. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But all practical as far as I can tell. Just a nice setup. It's just a really nice setup. He also did so. The only thing I would say is like this moon, I would have liked to have seen a little more light coming from the moon, but this is such a bright source, and this is where your subject's coming from. I wouldn't want it to overpower.
Yeah.
But that's if I could find anything, I would have said just give this a little more light or get it out of there. Honestly, you might not even need it in there, but
yeah. The glass is
think?
hard to do. I mean,
Hell yeah, it is.
Get it to stay right where it is and then take the shot. Balancing the figures, even if they're on wires and you're hiding the wires and stuff, what a challenge. Especially, I'm sure that werewolf is heavy.
Hell yeah, especially the front half of it. So I'm trying to figure out if he did actually do that, or if he did like take some out in post. But it looks like he's got this paw and this kind of piece of moss that might be hiding something that's wrapped around that center area and is just like holding him from the front and like stuck in underneath there. Which, if that's the case, this is an art, man. Like I didn't understand it at first, you know what I mean, before I joined that, and I was kind of like somebody once called it said they're like the Amish of toy photography. It's like
it's all kind of all toy photography is an illusion, so this is like a different, this is like a live illusion almost, like because it's all taking place in front of you.
I liken it to like movements in art, you know what I mean? There's cubists, there's surrealists, this is an aspect of toy photography that is cool. I love when people take the time to do it. I try to do it for the most part now, like I will try to hide a stand if I can. If I can't, I'm not going to torture myself and do glass technique necessarily or anything like that. But I enjoy seeing it. We have somebody coming up later on who is also in that vein, who does it remarkably well. But I just thought this was great. So this is Kneel Before Zod. This is Rafat. I think it's Rafat Olejka. Rafat Olejka, Kneel Before Zod. Go check them out. Some really good stuff. If you're into ACBA, if you're into practical photography without a lot of Photoshop effects, great. This is fantastic. This whole area right here alone is worth the price right there, man. Just amazing. Amazing, detailed, difficult work to do. All right. I think this next one is you. This is an up-and-comer. I don't know if anybody's going to know who this is, but you should definitely check him out. He's pretty good. He's getting a name. This is Johnny Woo, Sergeant Bananas. We don't have a behind-the-scenes. Corporal Bananas. We don't have a behind-the-scenes to see if his battery level was low or not, unfortunately. But tell us about this one.
So I think that this, and I said this to him, I think this shot kind of encapsulates him as a toy photographer, and I think it's what separates Captain Plantain. I think it's what kind of separates him from a lot of toy photographers, is that like Batman is barely in this photo, but you've got his shadow and the diorama work and the way it's positioned with him on the stairs. Like this could be a scene from the movie. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he can really do is light a set in a unique way where you can't, like, if Sergeant Bananas, if Johnny didn't post this, you wouldn't necessarily know it was a toy photo.
Yeah.
I think the he highlights the cinder block work in that diorama perfectly well. You see enough of the staircase, and again, you see the ears and the cowls in the shadow. Like the most prominent part of this photo, what I saw first when I looked at it was the shadow.
Yeah.
And I could tell that it was Batman.
Yeah.
And again, I think he sees things that I don't see, that a lot of toy photographers don't see when he approaches a photo. Not to use half of my handle in that sentence, but and like
a little plug is all right.
I think that just the way that he sees the figure and the sets and how he can get from what he sees in his mind versus what I would see if I approach that same idea is just completely different, and that's what's incredibly motivating.
Yeah. Well, he breaks a lot of rules, which is one of the first things I noticed about his stuff like early on was like just like rule of thirds is not necessarily something that he's paying attention. No, there's a lot of times where he'll take a nice shot where it's just like perfectly not centered, but like there's an interesting angle to it, but like it's how you would picture it to be done. But then there's times that I just feel like he actually creates tension because of his crop. It's an interesting crop that like is like, whoa, that there should be more room there, but I don't need it, and I like it because there's not. You know what I mean? Like, but my inclination is to like, oh, it should be a little more balanced. But I mean, this shot is a little different, actually. I feel like, first of all, things like this up in here, just the light that's not, everything isn't flat. You know what I mean? There isn't a light coming down from the top over here. There isn't a light coming from over here. It's coming from above the stairs, obviously, and he's moving into a very dark area, which is super Batman anyway. But there's shadows and there's different light play, you know what I mean? Like whether it was accidental on purpose, I'm sure it was a little bit of both, as it always is, but it works so well. And then look at this composition, like right straight through. This line cuts, the shadow continues, the line of the staircase cuts right through Batman's shadow, which is also almost a character, like you said.
He looks like the shadow looks like it's facing me.
yeah, and it creates like that. It looks like the movie, you know what I mean? It's like it's not a part of the movie. Wasn't a scene in the movie. This wasn't even a thing as far as I remember. I mean, I think they went to that one building, but like it just like.
But this is something
he's turning the corner, and it's oh my god, it's the Batman, and you're seeing this, and it's like Jesus, it's the Batman. You know what I mean?
But this is kind of how he operates. Like that's how Batman would want to be.
Sure.
It's almost like there's two of him in this photo.
Yep.
And
exactly.
That's part of the theatrics that Batman almost inadvertently, in some, not in the Nolan stuff where it's very intentional, but in the Matt Reeves stuff maybe is less intentional. But he also pulls back at times and lets you see the setup and get kind of pulled into the setup. Like you feel like you're in the corner of that room. And there's the perfect amount of atmosphere. So the blacks aren't actually black. They're brown and the walls are orange. It's like, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, this is what a lot of new people, I see a lot of like crushed blacks and things like that. And you just got to learn to like, again, I recommend atmosphere, or whatever you want to use, atmosphere aerosol or a fogger or something like that to help break that up. But you don't have to even do that either. I mean, this could be post. This could just be, your settings on your camera to keep things from being too crushed. And yeah, I love this little bit of Dio here. I love that he didn't put a rat in here, which is good. I think that's one of his things too, isn't it? Somebody hates those rats. Maybe that was Bug. That might have been Bug. Somebody hates those rats because I used to put them in like every outdoor scene or something like that.
I just think there's a tendency in the community, not everyone, but to kind of overlight and underexpose a photo.
Yep.
And you blast this thing with light and then you shoot it at 1600ths of a second and it looks like you took it at night. There's a good balance between the dark and the light, and this looks like it was obviously not something that was rescued in post. This is what he got through the camera. Yeah,
and you've even got this split of the wall here too, which divides the two Batman, the Shadow Batman, and the actual Batman. This was really
Yeah, I
cool.
just
I
think
mean,
that just looks incredibly complicated. It looks simple. It's Batman walking down the stairs and there's a shadow.
yeah,
But that, I think, maybe not complicated or difficult for Johnny to do, but I think it looks
mm.
hard.
This is playing around with stuff too. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he just plopped this down and this was it. I don't know. But like, it's just like moving things around, moving light around. Like there is some light coming spilling in here, whether or not that's coming from this side, the left camera side. As
Mhm.
like here's another room where there's some light spilling in or something like that. But it helps to break up this area too. Again, I'm sure it was conscious, but a lot of that stuff you could just like you just know. You know what I mean? Like once you get to a point, you've been doing this as long as he has. Like you just know. Like you just like that needs to be there. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
need to have something
But
breaking up
one of
that
the
space.
reasons I picked it too, I think that you come to expect, I think that hopefully, I think the community comes to expect him to post stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he posts consistently excellent stuff all the time that's nuanced and layered and subtle. And I don't think it should be taken for granted. That's
Yep.
all,
Yep.
because it's
Yep.
very good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's tension. It feels very cinematic. It feels like there's motion in it.
That's a toy.
Yep. It's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. So check him out. Give him a few follows. He could use it for sure. Uh, all right. Next up, we got Wolverine and Hulk by Toy Lens. This is Derek. This hit me, man. This was like I've seen this. This is a classic matchup, obviously. This Diamond Select Hulk is awesome. It's a great figure. I've got it. Never shot it. I don't know. Is this the Mafex or is this the Marvel Legends Wolverine? Can't tell. I think it's the Marvel Legends.
I think
Or
so.
or maybe it's
The
Mezco.
Hulk is
I'm not
Marvel
sure.
Select.
Yeah, that's
Diamond
Diamond
Select.
Select. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one, which Wolverine this is. But man, I loved the light and contrast on this, the atmosphere he got, the depth he got with the snow. He's got another edit of this. I don't love it as much. It's a little more straightforward. It's got a little more contrast to it. I really like the atmosphere in this. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
atmosphere. So this feels like you're in a snowy environment, overcast day in the woods.
This
All
looks
the
like,
detail on the rocks and stuff is incredible. The snow work is great. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, this is an, I mean this as an incredible compliment. This looks like stop motion animation, like a kind of a, like those, like not necessarily like, that I forget the name of the studio that's been making those movies lately, Leica Studios or something like that.
Okay.
But it looks like a stop motion film set that they would
Yeah.
animate these characters on.
Yes. Oh, the set. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's a really, really nice set. Like these are some really good trees. I got to find out who did his trees. I really like them. But yeah, I mean, even just this snow is to scale. I'm assuming he's using like the model railroad snow on these rocks.
I use baking soda. It's incredible. It's great. Makes a tremendous mess.
I fucking hate baking soda. This stuff isn't probably that much better though. I've used it and it kind of creates that like sometimes you can't get it off shit. Like you gotta either wash it or you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
But this might be baking soda. Actually, down here, this looks a little more compact. Like
It's got a bit of a reflective property to it, and baking soda does more than flour,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm telling you, man, I found this sand, like vase filler sand, that's really good. And actually, there was this fake snow from last year. The first time I've seen it in like, the Christmas stores, Joann's and Michael's.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fine, and it was just that little plastic stuff. But you put that over the top of something as like a layer, and it really gives you that crystalline,
Nice.
crystally snow, fresh snow look. It looks really, really good. But this is great. He photoshops out the joints. I don't need that, but like that's his prerogative, so that's cool.
It makes that Wolverine look real.
It does do that. I got to say, it does do that. I did tests back in the day when I was first starting out as to whether people wanted, because a lot of people said, like, I did it on a couple shots, like some hot toy shots, and they were like, oh, I love this. This is amazing. Looks like a photo. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not sure it looks like a toy anymore. You know what I mean? Like, which was kind of fun, but like the majority of people said that they liked it with the joints to see it was a toy. Like,
I
you
did
want to
it
be able to
once.
like look twice and go, oh, 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 that's a toy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's the best reaction you can get.
yeah, yeah.
I did it once on the Marvel Legends Silver Surfer because I wanted him to look like, and
That almost needs
I
it.
got killed for it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Who was killing you?
I got a couple of messages and people in the comments were like, but it's a toy and it has joints. And I was like, yeah, I get that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
get that.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, that makes sense to me. I just
yeah,
for that one shot I just wanted it to see if I could make him look fluid. It was kind of an experiment, but
yeah. Of course. Hey, what's up, Big Dub? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Alberto? What's going on, man?
hey,
Alex Richardson is here. What's up, Alex? Yeah, but this is great. I love the atmosphere. I love the little details. Like there's, you know, small bits of snow, in on that's landing on these
yeah.
figures. It's in the right places. It's not just clumped over his back or anything like that. Like it just dumped
And
on him. But
the
like it's
fact that
been snowing.
yeah, and the fact that you know 25% of the shot is Wolverine's back again. You don't need to see the full figure to know that it's Wolverine. And I like that choice. I like the fact that it's the Hulk coming towards the camera and Wolverine's between us and
Yeah,
the Hulk. I think that's a great choice.
it's not a complex compositionally. Like it's not a complex layout, but everything he's got going on and everything he's
Yeah.
done with it really makes it really nice. Yeah, I mean the posing on the Hulk, there's definitely eye contact there, even though you can't see Wolverine's eyes. And his pose, I like Wolverine's pose a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
really great work. That's Toy Lens. That is Derek, I believe Derek. Yep. Fantastic work, Derek. Congratulations. All right, next up, our good friend and my co-host of the 1 6 pack. This dude, man, he
I
kills
know.
me every time, man.
So
He kills me. He
I
kills me.
think
Go
one of
ahead.
the other things that I always say is that Tom is the Hildebrandt brothers of toy photography, and you're the Frank Frazetta of toy photography.
I don't know how that
So
works out, but okay, I'll take
I
it.
think it works out fine, so I'm gonna stick with
Okay.
it. But this is a great example of how he can work with these types of color palettes and make it absolutely pop and pull these incredible details out of these figures. It's a beautiful figure.
Hmm.
It's quite a sight to behold in person.
Yeah.
Um, but the way he shoots it and brings it to life, because we talked about this very briefly before we went live, is that he does a very good job, and he does it often enough where you notice it as part of kind of his style, where he shoots a figure or he lights a figure from below
Hmm.
and can get these incredible details. Whereas, I think predominantly people light from the top or the side or the back. He gets these incredible results shooting from the bottom or lighting from the bottom up. I
Yep.
can't get enough of it.
Yeah, he uses a lot. Like I don't think he uses a lot of lights, but he uses a lot. Like he has the light behind the dial. He has a light coming from above, or that may be bounce light from that light coming from behind the dial. But
Mm,
it's just enough. Like his contrasts are what like
yeah,
kill me, man. The richness of the blacks and the fact that things aren't lost in them. Like you know what I mean. He like
yeah.
knows how to draw things out enough. Like I don't need to see what's going on up here. Like even up here, I can still see a little bit of line of the dial. It's not just lost in black.
And it looks completely necessary too. It's absolutely part of the environment that you need it.
Yeah, compositionally, I mean, he's always like his composition like is I. It's just he said that to me before, and I'm just like, dude, man. I look everything I do. I look at it and go, what what would Tom have done here,
Yeah,
like compositionally? Because he's just always doing, and it's always tight too. I'm I'm consciously trying to do that now more is like get in a little bit tighter and
I
crop
don't know if
things
you
a
can
little
see
bit
it.
tighter and like get in there. What's up? Oh, is
My,
that
my
his shot?
his
With the screensaver?
heavy Mandalorian shot.
Yep.
It's been my wallpaper for like 6 months now.
But yeah, I mean, he edits a lot, but he knows what he's doing. Again, like I know what I'm doing in Photoshop, and there's a lot of times I look at it and go, "Damn, how did he get that done?"
He's painting. You know, he gets a lot of it in camera, and then he's accentuating it
Oh
too, and
yeah,
pulling
absolutely, yeah,
colors
yeah.
out. And
But he
I learned,
knows what he's doing editing, which is what again, like you can do this. This is why I think people need to move on to a higher end Photoshop suite if you can swing it and if you're into it and if it matters to you. But you can
he,
really do a lot of incredible stuff. Here you go. Look
but
at
that
that
shot
flaming.
is still. I've learned a lot from his speed edits. I've told him this. Like watching these speed edits, you can
Hmm.
really glean some interesting stuff on how to
Oh
layer
yeah,
in
look at that
some things.
light in the back with these highlights. That
I
wasn't
know.
even there. Look at that wasn't even there. Oh,
But
actually,
if
you
you
took it
start
out.
at
I
the
kind of like
beginning of
it.
that video, that the raw shot still has the the majority of the light that you're seeing.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, it's interesting though. Like he did. This is okay. So this is here's a little lesson, kids. Holding back on stuff when, like, if you watch this again, can I make it restart? But just by going back, it'll restart, right? Yeah, it'll go again. I think it'll go. There you go. Watch these. Watch these up here. Like at one point, he puts these little flares back here, and I looked at it. I go, oh yeah, that's when he did that. And I'm like, oh wait a minute, that didn't make it to the final shot
Yeah,
because it was too much.
he
It was
pulls
that
back
was a
some.
lot of contrast up there. It was probably drawing your eye a lot away from where you should be going, which is like right here, right
Yeah,
where he's got this brightest spot and highest point of contrast. And that was the right thing to do. Like it was the right thing to look at how simple this setup is. Like in terms of, I'm just saying, like what you see here is like you just wouldn't think that it was just this cut and dry. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm not diminishing it at all. It's just like incredible. Like it's amazing.
it's knowing what it's going to look like in camera, and then how to
Hmm.
get to what you want your post version of it to look like,
Yeah.
what you've conjured up in your mind.
And he's got this on a glass table, so that's how he's lighting up from below
Yeah,
without getting anything in the scene, and he can get so low on these figures so that you can see this much of them without having to, hide a light
and
or
it probably
whatever.
allows for some light fall off if he can put the light farther away from them. Like you don't want to put that light
True.
at their feet. You want
True.
it to be 12 inches away or
Right.
whatever.
Or it
So
could be underneath here, just spilling some
yeah,
light
and then
onto
he
them from there.
feathers it
Yeah.
out until he gets the right effect on it.
Yep. Yeah, the setups kill me with the final results. It's like, God damn, man, incredible. Like this is beautiful. I love his contrast. I
It
really,
yeah.
again, going back to kind of the Terminator shot. It's there's a product photography advertise, and he's in advertising too, but he does different stuff. Um, that I just like, oh, I can't see enough of that. I need to highlight that a little more. It's like, no, you don't. We see
Yeah.
enough of it. You know what I mean? That like this guy in the back, like his part of his head here is like, I know what it is. I can see the shape of
Yeah.
it. I don't need to know the detail of that guy. He can be buried in the background. And I do though know that consciously, but sometimes I have to stop myself from like
Oh, yes.
overlighting
Yep.
for sure. This is just perfectly lit. Everything you need is right here. This is the story right here.
Yep.
And I mean, it's incredible. Fantastic. So that's Tom Iavawatu specs. If you're voting, and if you didn't see that link, I'll pop in here again. I think I still have it up here. Survey Monkey. We're trying this out. I don't know if this is going to work, but you can go to that Survey Monkey link. You can vote for your favorite. And if this works out, if this isn't a complete mess, I will allow, or I'll put the winner of it, whoever wins the sort of vote, into the opening crawl. Tom's already in there, but not this shot. So I'm not saying don't vote for Tom because it's a great shot. All right. Next up is Ian Saunders Photography. I saw this actually on Maz's Toy Box. So Ian has been part of that group for a while, and I just thought this was clever. I mean, I do love the lighting here, but I just really I loved the different scales that he's using here, and the fact that he took this Cthulhu head and put it on top of this figure, and this is the Cthulhu. Like normally you'll see the Cthulhu monster coming out of the water or whatever, like something like that, but wearing a jacket and just dealing with this little N scale people here. And just a little kid. I kind of like her kind of reaction to it, and I don't know. He seems welcoming. You know what I mean? It's just kind of it was kind of cool. I thought the setup was really really good. Like I said, I did like the lighting. I think the lighting is pretty nice. It's just a great setup, man. It's just fun.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love the subject matter.
Yeah,
And,
I know, me too.
yeah, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love the fact that, again, the mixed scales, but it's really really awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I like the pose on him. I just think it's different. You know what I mean? He doesn't look benevolent, but I mean that's Cthulhu. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of welcoming, like come into the fold and
Well, and that's the whole
destroy your soul.
Yeah, that's it is welcoming. I mean, that's the allure of satanic music. They're making something also that's
That's
you shouldn't be excited about, but it is quite the trick, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think a lot of this stuff is. Let's see if he's got a setup here. I don't think he does. He? Oh yeah, he does. He does. I think these are like this is like cardboard or something. Or is it a rock? Oh, it is a rock. Okay, he's a little one of those little again terrarium rocks.
Yeah, those are great.
A lot of complex lighting going on here. I mean, a lot of bounce lighting and some side lighting, some side fills and stuff.
I love how huge that that's Atticus Doom, right?
I think it's Atticus Doom. Yeah.
He looks huge in that setup because of the small railroad figures or whatever they are.
And the rocks really work as large rocks. I got to say, in the final shot, it reads as like a mountain. Like sometimes those things can look a little cheese, especially those little light rocks that have all the little pocks and stuff in them. But he set them up really well. And I just really like the lighting. The lighting to me, this feels like fantasy art. You know what I mean? He wasn't going for realism. It feels unearthly and like a fantasy painting.
And it should. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like ethereal.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Very cool, Ian. This next one is yours, but this, wow. You say about David. Collectors.orbit. Go ahead. Go with it. It's nuts.
Well, first of all, as he does Aliens and Predators, like almost not exclusively.
Almost exclusively. But pretty close.
So he is very well versed and experienced at shooting the drones and the queen and the eggs, and he made this hive diorama that he's used in other shots.
Crazy. Look at this thing. It's nuts. But it's got a lot of versatility because he can use it from so many different angles. There's openings in it and stuff.
Yeah.
And he does. There's front pieces. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's a gooey mess. And it looks like it's got, it's housing the drones, but they look wet. The environment looks humid. It looks like exactly how you would expect to find the queen in her hive. The atmosphere, again, maybe I'm a big James Cameron fan, but this strikes me as something that would be a still from Aliens.
Yeah.
The shadows tell as much of the story as the light does.
Absolutely.
And there's a little bit of red in the corner.
Just to set it off. Yep. Like there's
so
like it's not completely.
And I just
yeah, exactly. That breaks it. It just breaks it a little bit, which is nice. It gives your eye a little bit of break from the blue.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really
he's done shots where he's like you said, using the fog and the distance and just shapes, and you could just kind of make out the aliens in the background. I mean, he's nailed the aesthetic of these movies. Like it's spot on. Like it's spot on. It's backlit. with the white bright light coming from some unknown source.
Yeah.
And even the movement of these guys, that guy that's in the center front, the soldier there, just like hunched over and moving. It's fantastic, man.
It looks they actually I mean, as much as they look like aliens, um, they still look like people in costumes. If
Yeah,
that makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
even the way he's posed them, it looks like a dude wearing a giant H.R. Geiger
Yeah, true.
sculpt thing. Um,
You know what? You know, is a great lesson about this is too is, and we say this on Maz's show a lot to people, and I've seen it in ACBA a lot. Is as incredible as this. I mean, again, let's go look at this dial that he's built, right? And there are times when you see it more than you do here, but he's not trying to look at how little of that you see. You see enough of
yeah,
it to make out little shapes, but he's obscured it. He's not enamored with the thing he's built, and like you have to see the whole thing and
yeah.
ruin the subject of the shot, which should be the alien queen. It's just a background player. It's a supporting character, and
Right.
it works
And I
perfectly.
think that was what I think about that because George Lucas, who has become a somewhat divisive figure, which I don't
Yep.
understand, but
Yeah, I don't either.
he has said that the special effect is just a tool, and that he doesn't want to do these broad, long, drawn out establishing shots where you see just the. I mean, he has done some stuff like that, but it's like
Yeah.
the effect is there as part of the story. It's not like 2000 and 2001, which he kind of complains about the speed at which those ships move and the broad, like the wide shots of the in the effects. He
Yeah.
does almost the opposite, and it's tight. It's
Absolutely.
tighter.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's more claustrophobic, right? Like it just
Yeah, and it's
feels because of
immersive.
that.
And this should
Yeah.
feel very claustrophobic, and it does, because if you ever find yourself in that room,
That was the whole point. Right?
yeah,
I mean, the
terrible.
whole
Yeah.
that was it. So that is collectors.orbit. David, aliens, if you're voting at home, vote for that one if you like it. All right, next up. Oh, here we go. This is okay. So Simon, plastic snaps, Simon Hill is pretty much his pictures in the dictionary under ACBA photography. He is strictly no Photoshop. He does almost. I think he's doing some post editing now, or at least he plays around with it occasionally. But for the most part, he used to tell me like he just had to come straight out of the camera, and it is what it was, which is incredible because you got to see some of his other shots, the detail and the thought, and a lot of times humor. Not all the time. He mixes it up, but I just thought this was super, super. Just it's just weird. Like it's not hitting you over the head with some sort of pun on Ghost, the
Right.
movie, but it is Freddy and Jason and the environment. I mean, it looks like a ceramic studio, man. It looks like everything from the movie. The record player sitting on the barrel, the two of them. It's just the lumps of clay. It's like it's perfect. It's so perfect. And on top of that, the lighting is great. There's beautiful contrast. He's not overplaying the background, although the background is a player in it because it really kind of sells. Again, going back to like Dwayne Shoots Toys or Barrel Moraldo, like it becomes part of the scene. Just the immersion in the perfect setting of this is incredible. But I love it. I love it.
Just the idea, like there was a moment when he was sitting down and he was like, "Oh my God, what if I had
Yeah.
Jason sitting behind Freddy at the freaking pottery wheel, like Ghost?" And he's like gently stroking his arm, like, and I love that their feet are at the same angle. He's like as closest to him as he could get.
He's literally like
super
for helping
uncomfortable.
him form the like.
Oh.
Now I don't know what he's forming. I mean, maybe he could have taken it to an extra level with. Maybe there is something that meaning in that, but I don't know. But like maybe he was making something. I don't know, but like specific. But it doesn't even matter. And I love the fact that he picks Jason because of just the blank mask. but he's got the head tilt. Like there's care and concern, and like it's so good. It's so good, and the look on Freddy's face that he's creating something here somehow. It's like great. I mean, the claws are going to get in the way, but
I got to wrap this up. The kids are going to fall asleep soon.
Exactly.
Gotta get to work.
So good, so good. Love it, Simon. He's a creative dude, man. He is a creative genius for sure, man. He comes up with some amazing stuff. So, again, if you're not following Simon Plastic_Snaps, go do that. And if this is your favorite photo, you can go to the link that I put up earlier in the chat, somewhere up there, to SurveyMonkey. I'll post it again. I wonder if I can lock this on here. I don't think I can. Whatever. I'll put it in there again. I don't know sure this is going to work, but we'll try it. All right. We've got. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is another one of mine. 97 parsecs photography. This is somebody I'm relatively new to, and they have some incredible stuff, man. This is just a great shot. I'm not really sure what the setup is here. I mean, these are Black Series, so I'm assuming that's the Black Series TIE Fighter, or I don't know if he
does almost all of his work has some mixed scale elements to it.
Yeah.
That looks like it may be the First Order Black Series TIE Fighter directly behind it, but I think that second TIE Fighter is a vintage collection.
Right. One. Smaller. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, which is what I thought. Like, I thought this was kind of, it looked too well done to have been composited. Not that there's some great compositors out there, but like I really thought that.
And he does post every day.
Yeah, that irritates me.
He's under 30. Mm-hmm. He's a young dude, Robert.
Okay. It's Robert, yeah.
But he posts.
What if he's got a BTS of those
every day?
Yeah, that kills me, man. There's some people like that. Davey, he posts a lot too. And Iqbal, these guys just kill me, man. I'm like, my God. And Pablo, my friend Pablo, is constantly. He's like the most prolific person I know.
Yeah.
And I guess he doesn't have BTS for that. It's too bad. I'd love to have seen that. But yeah, some great stuff. Some really, really good stuff here. I mean, there was other things like the Indiana Jones shot that I liked a lot as well. But just this composition and the the motion that he got out of this, and again, looks like he used a little motion blur. Maybe not. Maybe it is just that little bit of. It's not exactly rain. I think it's kind of more just mist.
Yeah.
That creates that sense of motion. I'm not sure he's actually using any motion blur on anything here. Really, it's just they're just focus, just depth.
Yeah.
Really, really cool, man. I love it. I love this light down here. It looks like he's probably lit that from inside the TIE Fighter, but it gives the idea that there's fire coming from the blast of the jetpack. Really, really just genius.
He gets a lot. He gets a lot of mileage out of the Black Series line for sure, and and even the Jurassic Park stuff and the other Godzilla. He loves Godzilla stuff.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of mileage out of these guys.
That's good. He's getting more mileage out of it than I am, actually. It's just people seeing Trev's notifications. What? I don't know. What does that mean?
You have a lot of them.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, probably. Oh yeah. No, I know what you're talking. Yeah, no, okay, I get you. So yeah, that is 97_parsecs_photography. Robert Day. Check him out. Apparently, you're going to get a lot of content from him if you check him out because he's posting daily.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Incredible stuff. Yeah. For sure. All right, I think this is yours. This is Ace Ventura Intergalactic_Raptor. That's Steven.
Yeah.
This is great. So much fun.
I absorb a lot of toy photography. I try to,
mm-hmm.
and This one genuinely made me laugh out loud when I saw it because I am not good at mashups. I think I've done one mashup. I think it's in your
Same.
intro.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, that's true.
so to see like Ace Ventura, who if I'm very familiar with the first movie,
Hmm.
and then being familiar with the Mogwai
Hmm.
Gremlins, it's just kind of his expression, and then seeing obviously this creature poke its head out of the box, and it's just the perfect mashup to me. And it struck me, it took me off guard to think
Yeah.
of who would put these two figures together, and it made me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. The composition is fantastic. I
It
mean, your
is.
eye just leads right through it.
And he's looking at him
Um,
like, what the hell am I looking at?
that is a great figure, actually. I love that. I love the sculpt on that thing. That
It's
is
great.
totally Jim Carrey, man. That's incredible. Because you could just like, what have we here? You know what I mean?
That's right.
You know,
Yeah,
and
I mean, that would be an incredible Halloween movie. Ace Ventura and Gremlins
it
trying to
really
take care of him.
would. It really
Has
would.
no idea how to take care of the freaking thing and just destroys the entire town by getting it wet and feeding it after midnight.
The mashup you didn't know you needed, the crossover you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Maybe a little too much light coming in over his shoulder, but it's still the idea of it I can't get over.
Yeah, a little bit. I say if there was any fault of it, it would be that. But yeah, it's fun. Like I like these fun things, man. And I like when it makes sense. This makes sense for the character. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense that he
Definitely.
would be opening up this wild animal crate or saving this animal and not knowing what it was, and finding it in a warehouse and letting it free, and then creating all sorts of
And
danger out of that because it's perfectly Ace Ventura.
definitely. And he's got the crowbar. He clearly pried it open, but he used the right head
Mhm.
sculpt. He used the facial expression to help tell the story
Absolutely.
of the shot. And I think that sometimes that's hard in toy photography because you get
Mhm.
a static face, or the face it doesn't match the story you're trying to tell with the figure. But he got
Right.
it. The surprised, confused look is great.
And the what's like pretty remarkable is like this is just the way he's got him positioned, to not see. That was some thought in that, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't see his lower half for the most part. I think you
Right.
see a little bit of a knee or a thigh over there, but like he's almost completely hidden behind that box, but it looks like a natural pose. But it's like an illustration, like a poster. You know what I mean? This is how you draw this if you were drawing like a poster for this movie that
Yeah.
hopefully this should be made.
Coming this summer to
Um,
a theater near you.
exactly. Check your local listings.
Yeah.
But that's great. You know what I mean? Like he could have had him kneeling to the side. He could have, but I love, again, it's just the motion all the way through from the
Yeah, it goes
eye
from one
back.
corner to the other.
You
Yeah.
keep looking at him. You keep looking at the gremlin. You look down here at the danger wild animal thing. You bounce around to the right places, and it's really really good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Yep. Really really good. So that is Intergalactic _ Raptor. That's Steven. That's the Ace Ventura. That's what that's labeled on the survey if you're filling that out and playing it on. All right. Cool Water. This is Hugo Pina, Blue Beetle, and I'm not sure who his enemy is. I'm not a Blue Beetle. Oh, Carapax.
Carapax. Yeah, that's what it is.
Carapax.
That's right.
This was one of the first ones I picked from this month that I saw. I was just like, I was blown away by the light on this and the setup and the posing, composition wise. I mean, this looks like a comic book cover.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Like I love everything. I love everything about it. Just about everything. Like he's using pieces of the dio to, I'm assuming this character flies, but his foot is sort of on that thing, but it kind of looks like he's using that to propel. So whether or not that's holding him up or whether he's got a wire behind their back, behind all the smoke and stuff, I don't know, but
they look balanced on each other.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's some post work here with the eye glows, and I'm sure he's done a little bit of work here and there on it, which is exactly what you're supposed to do.
I feel like the main shot is you're looking at it. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of it made it.
I just really love that backlighting. I love how it lights up both the characters in the chest area and underneath them. Again, like that underlighting, kind of like what we were talking about with Tom's shot. Just it's very dramatic, and it pulls you right into the center of this fight, and it's a good fight. You know what I mean? It looks like it's a
Yeah.
you know the punch. I like to see the punch follow through, but I mean it's working. Like it looks like he's hitting him, and it looks like he's reacting to it. So I'm good with that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like this one a lot.
Details in the villain's armor is perfectly
insane.
Highlighted because there's that contrast between them.
I don't know if he's got a little. Does he have a little bit of a drawing effect on this? I guess I didn't really notice that, but it does look like he's got a little bit of an after effect.
It looks like a comic book cover to me.
In some places it doesn't, because I did look at that before, and it seemed like this smoke kind of had like that Photoshop, like watercolor effect to it. But then I look at Blue Beetle and I don't really see anything there, or these rocks. Not that there's anything wrong with that either, but it's not overdone. It's not heavy-handed. If he did do that, but I mean, it just looks crisp, and I like it a lot. Really cool. Very, very nice. That is Blue Beetle Cool Water 327 Hugo Pena. If you're going to vote, if you just joined us, I don't think anybody just joined us, but if you did, there's a link in the chat. And if you're watching, if you're with us right now, if you're gonna come back or leave, make sure you hit that like. Appreciate it very much. And when this is all said and done, if you're watching us live or if you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments if you saw something that you liked a lot, or which one of these was your favorites, or there's a style you like. Leave us a comment. All right, I think this is our last one. I think we're at the end here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this is my friend and yours, Tony, Toy.Division. I still can't get over him not being Passage to Alderaan. Yeah. But he's not anymore, so forget that name. He's Toy Division, which is a great play on.
I still instantly recognize his work, though, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I know it's his name. I just think of it as Tony now. Tony was like one of the first people who commented on anything that I ever posted on Instagram, and he was very nice, and we instantly started talking. So I've known him pretty much since the beginning of doing this stuff. But he always does like gorgeous. I think he changed his name because he did a lot of Star Wars. He still does a lot of Star Wars, but I think he didn't want to be pigeonholed into that. But
well, my name was Captain Ordo before, which is a Star Wars name.
That's right. I forgot about that.
I started doing other stuff.
Yeah,
and it had a 0 in it. Anyway, I won't.
I remember that. Yeah, impossible to spell.
Now I have 30 underscores, so it's even better.
But everything's spelled with a letter. So
you're there. Yeah, no numbers.
If you can spell visual approach and photo, you're good.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us about this and what made you pick this.
Well,
the fact that it's gorgeous.
He always does an incredible job, with this diorama, but also posing 6 scale, as you know, 1/6 computer.
Yep.
Posing 6 scale is extremely difficult because they have so many joints and there's clothing. To make them actually look natural, like he looks like he's sitting there. Toto is sitting there right next to him. The shadow play in the shot, where the texture on the wall behind him is shocking.
Oh yeah.
There's a perfect little flare that's almost imperceptible on the pipes behind him.
Right there. Yep. Right there. Yep.
But you can tell he's sitting in a dark corner, and of course Cad Bane would be sitting in the dark corner of the cantina.
Yep.
And there's something about the way he's holding the glass, like the small bourbon glass.
Yep.
Like it speaks to the character. It speaks to the environment that you would find him in. It's perfectly well lit. The posing and the 3/4 view of the characters kind of looking past the camera at either I'm
imagining somebody's over here who he's having some words.
He's got a puck for somebody that's about to have a really bad day.
Exactly.
Or he's waiting for someone to give him a puck so that he could go find the person. But it's just, that's a place that I would never want to find myself.
Right.
But he does an incredible job with this diorama, making you feel like you're in Star Wars.
Yeah, he's done amazing shots with this, and they're all, I gotta say, like, this is the challenge when you have a great diorama and you want to use it, and it's niche and narrow. Like, he does a great job of switching it up all the time and doing something different with it. So,
and he's squeezed a ton of beautiful stuff.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is obviously, you know, based on Clint Eastwood, The Man with No Name, but like, I mean, this is a perfect example of putting him into a situation where it's just like a Clint Eastwood. This looks like, you know, like a 70s, you know, spaghetti western type film, man. It's like perfectly lit, and yet Star Wars. I love it. I love how the droid is just sitting there, you know, looking up. They both have the same eye line, so they're making the same eye contact with whoever's on the other side of that. And yeah, the light, the texture on this thing, the little bit of a glare without getting blown out. Nothing's being blown out here.
No, it's like perfect.
And you see enough of it. That's the other thing. Like, you can see details here.
Mm-hmm.
You can force somebody to look a little deeper, as long as this isn't in complete blackness. This is fine. This is good. You know, I love that the light of the window just cuts his hand, and you can. This is where everything is focused right here. Highest point of contrast is right here. You know, face, light side of face, dark side of face. It's right where you go. That's the key, man. And then you bounce around everywhere else. It's beautiful, beautiful lighting. He always does incredible stuff, and it always looks like it fits into that world too.
Mm-hmm.
He really nails Star Wars.
Yeah, he gets it. It makes sense to him.
He gets it. He gets it. So that is our best of the month for August 2023. Here's your winners and or contenders. We do have some votes. I'm going to refresh this just to see if we've gotten any more. If you've now seen everything and you want to take a moment, we're going to talk a little bit. So these are all your... these are in order as the survey goes too. So if I will scroll through these a little bit, and you could kind of take a look at them again one more time. Sandra Bell blog, Lost in Translation photo, Patrick Ohm Dios, 850 Sith Lord, Mad Toothbrush, Bail Morado, Kneel Before Zod, some guy named Sergeant Bananas, Choi_Lens, Eye of a Watu, Ian Sanders Photography, Collector's Orbit, Plastic Snaps, 97 Parsecs Photography, Intergalactic Raptor, Cool Water 327, and Toy Division. So that's everybody. Take a minute if you're here. Hit the survey, man. I'll put the link in there one more time. Let's see what we got, because I think we only got a few people that have responded. Exactly 4. Come on, there's 22 people here. Just take a minute. Just do it. Just click on the link and just vote. Just vote. Let's give somebody a realistic win here and give them the ability to be in the opening. So what did you think of this, man? How do you think this went? This was did you have fun?
Yo, I had a great time. I love I really like saying nice things about people. And I really like talking about toys and toy photography. So
I know
it's the best of both worlds for me.
It is. It is nice to you know, I have a unwarranted rep as the Simon Cowell of the group.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should watch that one. But I'm just being honest with people. You know what I mean? That's more like school, like you're learning, and like I took my lumps in design school. You know, and if you're gonna put yourself up to it, you know, I'll find something good about your shop, but I'm gonna also tell you, like, you know, what you could improve and what you're doing. I mean, here we're looking at people who know what they're doing, and people who we've obviously, even if, you know, they don't always know what they're doing, they nailed it with a shot this time around. So,
Johnny just asked me to say something nice about The Rock.
Say something nice about The Rock? Inside joke.
I got nothing.
Thank you, Pablo. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is Pablo. I got to get you on as well. I mean, I'm doing this once a month. So it's going to be a while before I get everybody on, unless I opened it up to more than one person. In that case, I think I'm going to have to limit to like 5 a person or something like that. But we're working on it. Like, so let me know in the comments, like what you liked about it, like what you'd like to see improved. You know, if you want to see if you can get involved or something like that, how we go about doing that. If anybody's got any suggestions, but
I know you don't want to start another page. You've got one for 1 6-pack, but I mean, people could tag the page.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility, actually. That's pretty good. I just really like that because I didn't want to be tagged, on my personal page, just because that gets a little crazy, and there's all sorts of other stuff on there that I do want to be able to see that I don't want to crowd with that. I thought about a Facebook page, but not everybody's into Facebook. It's a little harder to get your stuff up there, and not everybody wants to do it. So you're already posting to Instagram. If you could tag me someplace, that would be great. I think that's a great idea. I think that's actually what I might do. Maybe even just start a toy photography bomb page just specifically for this, and you can tag that. There you go. You've just solved my problem. That's fantastic. Lou voted. The shit is insane. So subtle. I don't know what that means, Alberto. Cool. Excellent. Thank you, Brick. Let me refresh this. I don't want to hang out too much longer. We're going on 2 hours, which is what I figured we'd be doing. I'm going to give this two more minutes. No, this is what I want to do, though. I really want to get into in depth with this stuff. It's kind of what we did with the articulators, and I got to get back to that show as well. But I really wanted to kind of just pick, on a month-by-month basis, just pick some of them. I do it anyway. I save this stuff all the time when I see stuff, and I used to go and post it at the end of the month on my stories and stuff, and then I got behind on that. So this will force me to kind of go and do it publicly now. So hurry up and make that page so I can tag it tonight. I'm sure you're going to be up there, man. Alex Richardson is fantastic too, man. He's an incredible photographer. One of his photos is in the opening video as well. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I think there's only a few people left here. I don't know who's voted, but we do have 16 answers. If you're trying to get your answer in now, do it quickly. If not, we got about 10 seconds here, and I'm going to call it and share this page to show you the winner. With 5 votes, I have Uatu. We'll have his photo that's already in the opening replaced with this photo.
You can replace it with that photo.
Right behind there was the Predator with 3 votes, Iron Man with 2 votes, Batman with 2 votes, Wolverine with 1, and Cad Bane with 2. This is for fun, man. You know what I mean? This is not a competition. Nobody's winning any prizes here. All these things are incredible photos. It's all a matter of taste. Again, we've missed stuff. I'm sure that was somebody will probably be bringing
countless images
attention. Oh yeah, somebody's gonna tag me tomorrow and say dude, you should have seen this one. Why didn't you have this one? Because I didn't see it. So that's what the page is going to be for. So, Sean, man, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it. 2 hours. That's not too bad. It's not too bad for 2 hours.
No, flew
Might
by.
have to cut it. Yeah, for sure. What do you got coming up? Anything? Any shots? Any more dials you're building? Or
I am.
Or are you creating another? Are you going to do something else? Now you're going to be painting customs and things like that, or?
I do paint the Black Series figures before I shoot them because they are reflective basically now.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to try to finish that diorama that I've been working on, and I want to shoot. I just got the Mezco Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
And I have an idea for that. I'd like to try to shoot that. How about you?
Yeah, I do have that one. I'm going to be tied up with doing Mythic Legion stuff for the next month and a half. I'm sure. I got to get one more shot for the stupid calendar that I'm putting out. It's not a stupid calendar, but it's driving me nuts because I just need one more shot.
Just change it to September. It's over there.
There you go. There you go. And I'm telling you, they're destroying me in a good way. I mean, I love doing it, but man, there's a lot of stuff coming, man. Eventually, maybe not right away, but soon. Yeah. Other than that, Legion's Lounge. We have Legion's Lounge on every other Monday. We're going to probably be doing it more often. So again, hit the bell if you're not already following, subscribed, because we may be going every week in the lead up to Legion's Con, and you're definitely doing Legion's Con.
I am in the same hotel as the convention this time.
That's right. That's awesome.
So I'm going to be there. I can't wait.
And Tom and Richie are coming too, right? That?
I didn't know Richie was coming. I knew Tom was coming, and so that's exciting.
It's gonna be great. So many people, man. Cheney 180 from Toy Amigos is coming as well. It's gonna be great. Jurassic
I'm
Jesse.
excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. So check that out, and I think the 1 6-pack will return next Friday. It's been a while, but there wasn't a lot of news. But it's starting to pile up, so we'll be back to talk about that stuff. I do think the community could use more constructive criticism and be so overly positive and supportive. Positive and supportive is good. I did start a tag years ago for people who wanted creative criticism or constructive criticism, and just allow people to kind of like comment on their stuff if they wanted it. But you got to ask for that. You can't just do it to people. I think, if you're coming on something that you think somebody's done something that could be improved, you don't just want to go and say that. You know what I mean? If you know them, say it offline or whatever. But like if nobody's asked for,
nobody wants unsolicited feedback. You don't do it at the gym.
Exactly.
You don't do it with the arts.
Toy photography. That's right. That's true. Yeah. So I think this will be a place. There's going to be a time and place for that. I may be doing something along those lines as well. But I am on Toy Maz's show every Tuesday, and we do that stuff. So get involved in that. Follow Toy Maz and or Maz's Toy Photography, and tag Toy Maz to get your stuff critiqued. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Check out the replay art. Appreciate it. And thank you, Alberto Morales. All right, that's it, guys. Good night. Appreciate it. Sean, take care. And
thank you.
See you next month for this one. Bye.